All right, all right. Look at this nice little hat that I have. I don't know. Does it look good? Let me see. Maybe if I actually I like the front. I prefer the front. And now it's time to get to the front and center. Welcome everyone to the El Toro episode 2, but it's talking about the 20th match day in La Liga. So I would first of all, before we get started with the live stream, please do hit the like button on the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you are new around here, and obviously ring the notification bell so that you don't miss any future shows, live watch alongs, and all that. There is also a live poll in the chat. So hopefully we get at least someone voting in the chat. You guys will decide which La Liga match I will be doing a watch along this coming weekend. There's three options that you can choose from. There's Espanyol versus Real Valladolid. There's Leganés versus Atlético Madrid, and Celta Vigo versus Athletic Club. So those are the three matches that you guys can decide on whether whichever games you want to watch or do for me to do a live watch along, basically. So yeah, as I said, do let me know your thoughts on any game or anything basically in the live chat as well. By doing that, you have to subscribe to the channel, like the stream, and obviously, as I said, join the live chat and vote in the live poll as well. The live poll will end by the end of the show, and then obviously I'll set the stream up for whatever game has been chosen, if there is someone that chooses or votes in the poll. But let's get straight into La Liga. First of all, maybe I won't share this, but that part. But we'll first talk about the Supercopa de España. I have 3 minutes in. First of all, congratulations to FC Barcelona for winning the Supercopa de España after beating Real Madrid 5-2 on Sunday night here in Spain, obviously. Do I think they deserved it? Yeah, probably, just based on the game against Real Madrid. And yeah, I think overall, I think for FC Barcelona, I think we'll get to both games that they have this coming weekend. But we'll also talk about the Copa del Rey games in a short amount of detail. Jesus Christ, if you look, my hair is so long. All right. But yeah, as I said, please do let me know your thoughts. But yeah, FC Barcelona, I think they deserve the win. I think man of the match in that game, I'll probably say, in my opinion, I think Rafinha, just because he actually scored a really good goal as well. So yeah, I'll probably say Barcelona deserve the win. Now let's see how they will fare in the league when they play against Getafe away at the weekend. But let's get straight into the La Liga games. I'm also just making sure I have all the stuff ready. First off, we have on the Friday, tomorrow night, we have Espanyol versus Real Valladolid. This is one of the games that is in the live poll that you can vote. So if you guys want me to watch this game, that'll be up to you guys. But yeah, Espanyol versus Real Valladolid. In the last game, Espanyol, they drew against Leganés. Valladolid actually beat Real Betis in the previous game. Now, the win probability says that Espanyol are more likely to win, but they actually got a draw. They had this almost similar point with Leganés in their previous game. And if you look at the La Liga table, both teams are at in the relegation zone at the moment. So I think obviously a win for either team does put them at least for at least one night above the relegation zone. A draw doesn't help either. It'd be hilarious if it ends up being a draw. But both of these teams aren't really known for drawing. Between them, only 7 draws, 4 for Espanyol and 3 for Valladolid. Now, let's get to some of the things that we could be looking out for in this game. Espanyol have lost 4 of the last 5 meetings against Real Valladolid in La Liga, suffering as many defeats in the previous 20 top-flight matches. 8 wins, 8 draws, and 4 losses. So that means even though the stats do say that the win probability of almost half more likely to win this game is Espanyol, actually history dictates us that Espanyol will not beat Valladolid. Another thing to take note is that Real Valladolid have won the last 2 games against Espanyol in La Liga. They did obviously earlier this season, claiming one of only 4 wins that they got this season in La Liga, and can make it 3 wins in a row against Espanyol for a 3rd time ever, and the first time since 1963. So almost like almost a 62 years, I believe so, for Valladolid. So look, they're chasing history, Valladolid. So we'll see how that fares. But also, Espanyol have won just 3 of the last 6 home games against Valladolid, having won 5 of the previous 6 home games in La Liga. So at least very recently, Espanyol are not that great against Valladolid. Whereas Valladolid do have Espanyol's number, obviously, this season. So they could do a double over Espanyol, which would definitely help Valladolid. Espanyol have failed to win any of the last 5 home games played on a Friday. That is quite important to note. Failing to score in the last 3. Meanwhile, Valladolid have won just... Valladolid have only won 1 of the last 17 away games on a Friday in La Liga. That being a 3-2 win over Alavés actually this season. So things are really starting to look good for Valladolid heading into this head-to-head against Espanyol. And Espanyol have not lost any of the last 4 home games in La Liga so far, in the past 4 games, obviously. 3 of them ended in draws. Obviously, they got that draw at home against Leganés. So yeah, I do think that this game, I'll be honest, has the potential of it just being a narrow scoring, like only 1 goal in it. And I'll probably will go with a 1 goal margin between these 2 teams. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm probably going to predict I'm thinking. I'll probably predict I'll go with another win for Valladolid, actually. I thought Espanyol in the previous game probably had the better of the chances against Leganés, but they just didn't finish. And I just feel like it might undo them again. So I will go with a Espanyol 0, a Valladolid 1. So that actually means that Valladolid will survive will be out actually of the relegation zone, claiming back-to-back victories as well. Next up, moving on, let me just update the timing. Next up, it is Girona versus Sevilla. Obviously, both these sides picked up points. Girona, the home team, got a very narrow 1-0 win against Alavés in a pretty boring game. And then Sevilla got that draw at home against Valencia. Obviously, I did a live watch long for that game because you guys did vote in the poll in the previous El Toro show. So obviously, as I said, please do vote in the live poll of which game I should be doing. Now, obviously, both these sides are pretty mid-table. I'll be honest. But Girona, from 5th to where they are, there's only 2 points in it. So there's a potential that Girona could actually be up to 5th by the end of this game, should they win. As for Sevilla, they're on 23 points, but I feel like there's no threat of relegation for Sevilla. I'll be honest, I just think that there's at least 3 or even 4 or 5 worse teams than them, that one of them being Valencia, which we'll talk about. But yeah, I think, I'll be honest, this game for me doesn't really excite me. I'll be honest. Girona do have the slight edge, more than about 50% of the win probability. But yeah, in terms of the top flight, obviously Girona has only been in La Liga for only like 2-3 years. But Girona have won the last 6 games against Sevilla in La Liga. That's actually their best ever record. So, I mean, I'm just saying that is already very, very good reading for Girona. So they can actually go 7 straight wins in a row against Sevilla in La Liga. And obviously, after winning their first visit in Montilivi in La Liga, Sevilla have lost the last 3 away games against Girona, and no other away team have lost more matches against Girona. I meant in La Liga, 3 each for Celta, Athletic Club, and Getafe. And the last 2 wins, actually, after the 2-0 win over Espanyol in match day 11, Sevilla can win back-to-back visits against Catalan opponents for the first time since 2014. So maybe a bit of history if Sevilla get the win in this one against Girona. But look, even if I read more of the stats, it does read in the more of the favor of Girona. And I'll be honest, right? I do think that they can actually get another win in this game. I'll be honest. So I'll be honest, I'll probably most likely going with a Girona win in this one. I just think that they will probably just have that very good record. I think they'll continue that good record. It'll be funny if they don't, I'll be honest. But yeah, I'll probably go with a win for Girona. I'll go with a 2-1 win for Girona. I'll probably go with that. I'll be honest. 2-1 for Girona. Next up, it's another game that I put in the live poll, actually, which you guys can obviously have your say. And that is Leganés versus Atlético Madrid. Now, obviously, there's a huge favor on Atlético Madrid to win this game. And I think a lot of people will be expecting them to win this game. Now, obviously, if you look at the league table, Atletico are top of La Liga, only 1 loss so far this season at the halfway point, and that was obviously away at Betis. But yeah, they can continue being at the top of La Liga if they get a win over Leganés, both clubs obviously from Madrid, basically. Meanwhile, Leganés, they're all the way down in 16th. Possible chance that they could be in the bottom 3 by the end of this match day. I'll be honest. Obviously, I've been to Leganés Stadium. I haven't been to Atleti yet in terms of their stadium, but I'll definitely go one day. But yeah, I just feel like even if we read the upcoming pre-match stats, it doesn't read good for Leganés. Leganés have not won any of the last 9 meetings against Atletico in La Liga. Never beaten them, basically. Meanwhile, Atletico have drawn 44% of their games against Leganés, which is actually a really high percentage of draws. So this game's actually known for picking up a lot of draws for Atletico. So not great, but definitely something that Leganés would have to maybe not even turn around. Atletico Madrid have kept a clean sheet in 78% of the matches against Leganés. Yeah, so I think Leganés would probably have to hope for a 0-0, I'll be honest. Leganés have lost each of the last 3 home games in La Liga, which is not good. I was in one of them. I was at the game against Sociedad, which they lost 3-0 almost comfortably. But they haven't done 4 home losses in a row since October 2016, and also in September 2019. So I just feel like that it will add a third one at the time. I'll be honest. And obviously, Atletico Madrid have won their last 8 La Liga matches. I believe they have won 14 games in all competitions. Now, they could actually, Atletico, have the chance to equal their club record of consecutive wins in a single competition or single season. When they last did it between March and April of 2014, coincidentally, under the same manager, obviously, Diego Simeone, but coincidentally, when Atletico Madrid won La Liga by the end of the 2013-14 season. So there's a lot of good reading for Atletico Madrid. And I just feel like they're just going to have too much for Leganés in this game. I'll be honest, I could see it being like a huge scoreline. I've seen Leganés in person and so far in whichever games I've seen them in. I just think that Atletico will be just too good in this game, I'll be honest. So I'll be honest, I will go with a win for Atletico Madrid, I might actually go with a heavy scoreline. I will go with a 4-0, actually. I think it will be quite heavy. A 4-0 win for Atletico Madrid is my prediction there in that match. Next up, here we go, is Real Betis against Deportivo Alavés. Both these sides, honestly, not having a great season overall. Obviously, Real Betis, I would say, kind of humiliating loss away at Valladolid in the previous game, whereas Alavés just not good enough as well. Actually, both these sides lost 1-0 in the previous match day, Alavés against Girona and Betis against Valladolid, which obviously, for the sake of Alavés, is not great. But the win probability still says that Betis will get more chance of winning. Now, Betis are probably the most inconsistent team in La Liga this season from where they are, because I feel like Betis being in 10th with the team they have, I don't think that they are that bad. But just this season, they've been really, really inconsistent, Betis. And I'll be honest, like, obviously with a -2 goal difference, not great. And obviously last night they lost to Barcelona 5-1. So yeah, it's just not been a great start to the year for Betis. Meanwhile, for Alavés, they are just a point above the relegation zone, and they could actually be in the relegation zone before this game even starts, because obviously Espanyol and Valladolid play each other, as we discussed. So I just feel like this game is going to be a lot about inconsistencies rather than who will be better on the day. I just feel like there might be a mistake in this game. But some insights, pre-match game stats. Betis have not lost any of the last 7 meetings against Alavés, won 4, drawn 3. But they have drawn the last 3 games against Alavés. Obviously, they got a draw earlier this season. Alavés have collected points in 3 of the last 5 away games against Betis. Obviously, 5 points, basically, if I'm not mistaken, as many as they've done previously. Betis have not won any of the last 4 games against Basque opponents, because obviously Alavés, they are based in the city of, if I have to say, it's Gasteiz Victoria. I know my geography. Including 3 this season, Betis doesn't have a great record against Basque teams. But that's when they've been away at the Benito Villamarín this season, which is the Betis home ground. Real Betis have just one win in the last 8 La Liga matches. The last time they won was that 2-1 win against Villarreal last month in December. This is probably the worst run of form for Betis. As I said, they obviously got that loss away at Valladolid. And Alavés have not won any of the last 7 La Liga matches. So both these sides don't fucking win. They've been terrible. And I feel like this might be a scrappy game, but I don't know. I do think there might be some things about it to look forward to. Obviously on the Saturday. But I'll be honest with you guys. I just feel like with Betis, they're not that consistent, and I'll probably go with a draw, probably a 1-1 draw. I'll be honest. They're kind of both not impressive, so I'll go with a 1-1 draw between Betis and Alavés. All right, next up, people, we have Getafe hosting FC Barcelona, obviously another Madrid-based club, Getafe, based in Getafe, up against Barcelona, obviously the team I'm going to kid for today's stream. Barcelona, obviously overwhelming favorites, having just won the Supercopa de España this past Sunday. Getafe, however, have beaten Las Palmas. Yes, they did. But when you look at the table, obviously Barcelona are 6 points behind Atletico Madrid with the same number of games played. They've not won the last 3 La Liga matches, obviously, but they did win the last match, obviously, against Madrid in the Supercopa de España. Meanwhile, for Getafe, that win actually over Las Palmas has put them only behind Las Palmas in the table. And yeah, look, I did say Getafe are the most boring team to watch. Yeah, actually, their game against Las Palmas was a bit entertaining, I'll be honest with you. But I'll be honest, I just think that even if we go into like Barcelona haven't won a La Liga game in the past few games. I don't know what's happened there. All right, some live insights, pre-match live insights. Getafe have not lost any of the last 4 games at the Coliseum, which is actually the name of the stadium, against Barcelona. 1 win and 3 draws. So actually, they have a pretty good record against FC Barcelona, and Barcelona have drawn against Getafe in the last 3 visits to the Coliseum in Getafe. All 3 by the same scoreline of 0-0. So I kind of hope it's not 0-0. That's kind of why I'm not putting it in the poll, because, like, I'll be honest, I'm not super interested in watching on 0-0. And this is a game more likely to be a 0-0. But Barcelona have not conceded a single goal in the last 6 matches against Getafe, the longest against any opponent in La Liga. So actually, look, Getafe only scored 13 goals all season, but 2 of them were in the previous game. I do not think they'll score in this game, I'll be honest. Getafe have won 3 of the last 6 La Liga matches, but they lost 3 as well, as much as they have in their last 27 before that. And Barcelona have not won any of the last 3 La Liga matches, as I said. Obviously, they lost the last 2, one of them being against Atlético, which is why they're 6 points at the moment behind Atlético. And this is their worst run so far since April 2016. So I'll be honest with you guys, knowing that Getafe haven't beaten Barcelona in a long time, though, albeit being with like similar sort of scorelines and all, I just feel like that FC Barcelona in this game will get the win. I'll go with I think maybe they'll take the chances and score them. I'll say 3-0 Barcelona. I just don't see much from Getafe. So I'll go 3-0 FC Barcelona. All right. And the next game we have is Celta Vigo against Athletic Club. Obviously, both these sides, I'll be honest, Celta Vigo, just like a few teams in La Liga, a bit inconsistent. Athletic Club have been pretty consistent now. But actually, the win probability of both teams is quite even. It's pretty split, I'll be honest. Obviously, Athletic Club have not lost in a long, long time. I don't even remember the last loss. Obviously, they lost to Barcelona in the Supercopa. But in La Liga, if Barcelona failed to get a win against Getafe, Athletic Club can actually have a chance of going above Barcelona more than halfway through the season. And look, Athletic Club have done well overall this season. I think they started a bit slow, but they have picked up when it matters. Well, Celta Vigo, they have probably the most, how would I call it, like the most inconsistent. They don't get many draws, but they either win or lose. More times than not, they lose. And I'll be honest, if we were to get into the live pre-match stats, Celta Vigo have won the last 2 games at the Balados against Athletic Club in La Liga, which is actually a pretty good record that they have against Athletic Club. But Athletic Club have won 3 of the last 4 meetings against Celta Vigo, which kind of does help. What do you call this? It does help the Basque club, Athletic Club. Celta Vigo have won the last 3 home games against Basque teams in La Liga this season. And it actually says the last time Celta Vigo have recorded 4 wins in a row against Basque opponents was back in 2003. So it's been a long, long time. And Celta Vigo have not lost any of the last 4 home games in La Liga, which it does tell for very good reading for Celta Vigo, unfortunately, as a Deportivo fan. But also Athletic Club have not lost any of the last 10 La Liga matches, they've not gone 11 undefeated in La Liga since October 1985. So it's been they actually, and that was with 16 unbeaten in a row for Athletic Club. And I'll be honest, right? I do think that overall, I do feel like there's a very good chance that Celta Vigo could win this game, even with the form that Athletic Club are in. I don't know. I just have a feeling there might be something in it for Celta Vigo. But do I want my bias of seeing Celta Vigo not win? Probably, but I do kind of feel like they might actually get the win here in this game against Athletic Club. They might get something. I'll be honest. So look, I'll probably go with a. I'll go with a 3. I'll go big. 3-1 Celta Vigo. Let's see if that actually comes true. 3-1 Celta Vigo is my prediction over Athletic Club. Over here. Next up, we have Real Madrid against Las Palmas. Now, I'm pretty sure if I remember, this game ended in a draw earlier this season. What is it? Oli McBurney doing really well for Las Palmas in that home game in the Canary Islands. And obviously, the win probability of Real Madrid is really high, 84% to Las Palmas, only 6%. Some sort of draw percentage. But yeah, Real Madrid, should there be any slip up from Atletico Madrid, they are the more likely to pounce in trying to secure that coveted La Liga spot. Whereas I do feel like for a team like Las Palmas, I don't think they're really in any threat of relegation. But that loss at home against Getafe did kind of hurt them, I'll be honest. In terms of just trying to push for anything. Look, I'll be honest, heading into this game, there's a lot of insights about this, but here's some pre-match insights. Real Madrid have not lost any of the last 35 home games against Las Palmas. That's actually, I think it says here, a record number of home matches without losing to Las Palmas. That's already bad reading for Las Palmas. But obviously, as I did say, this game did end in a 1-1 draw earlier this season. But Las Palmas have a chance to collect points in the 2 matches against Madrid in the same season for only the 4th time. But those were draws in 67, 79, and 2017. Real Madrid have scored in the last 35 home games against Las Palmas in La Liga. 3.4 per game, and that's the best streak they have. Real Madrid have won 15 of the last 17 home games in La Liga this season, drawing 1 and losing 1, conceding goals in only 5 of those 17. Coincidentally, I believe 4 were against Barcelona. Coincidentally. However, they did concede 2 or more goals in that run of games. After their defeat against Getafe in the previous game, as I said about Las Palmas, they could lose back-to-back games for the first time since the new manager Diego Martinez, who came in, who's done a pretty good job for Las Palmas, turning around their fortunes. Because if anyone remembers, Las Palmas were actually winless in the first like 9 games of the season, Las Palmas. So I'll be honest, just knowing that record about Real Madrid against Las Palmas, I know they got a draw in the previous game against Real Madrid, but I just feel like it's just going to be too much for Las Palmas. I could go with a big win here. I'll go with a 3-0. I can see it being a 3-0 win for Las Palmas. 3-0 win for Real Madrid. That's what I meant. That was what I meant to say. 3-0 win for Real Madrid. But yeah, next up we have Osasuna against Rayo Vallecano. Osasuna obviously losing, not doing anything much this season. Whereas Rayo Vallecano, they have beaten Celta Vigo in that previous game 2-1 at the Estadio de Vallecas in Madrid. Now, obviously, there's a win probability. I wouldn't say it's quite even, but kind of lean towards Osasuna. Obviously, if you look at the league table now, Vallecano are the ones above them, but only by goal difference practically. But both have very similar records in La Liga. However, Osasuna have not won their last 6 or 7 La Liga games, whereas Vallecano are unbeaten in their last 5 or 6 games, if I remember correctly. So it's pretty good at the moment for Vallecano in this games, in the past few games so far, and obviously start off the year with that win against Celta Vigo in La Liga. But some stats heading into this, actually. Osasuna have won each of the last 5 home games against Rayo Vallecano. So it's a pretty good record. And if there's a team that maybe Osasuna can break that sort of winless run that they're on, it could be against Vallecano. After winning the last 2 La Liga games against each other, both at the Estadio de Vallecas, Rayo Vallecano have the chance to make it 3 wins in a row against Osasuna for the first time in La Liga history. So some bit of history there. Rayo Vallecano have won just 1 of the last 12 away games at Osasuna, that being all the way back, 22 years ago in January 2003, a 1-0 win. Osasuna have failed to win the last 7 La Liga games, as I said, 4 draws, 3 losses, which is their worst winless run, in which the last time was between October 21 to January 22. In that period, 5 draws, 5 losses. So I don't know. I do feel like this game's more likely to be a draw. I'll be honest, at the El Sadar. And Rayo Vallecano have not lost any of the last 5 La Liga matches. They've won 2, drawn 3. So I do think that this game, I feel like, I don't know. I don't really trust Osasuna all that much. I'll be honest with you guys. I just feel like at the moment, I just think that they're not that good. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'll go with let's go with an exciting 2-2 draw. Something to continue their winners run at the moment, and Vallecano to be a bit unbeaten, I'll be honest. Right there. All right, next up. Oh God, it is time to talk about them. Valencia against Real Sociedad. Now, Sociedad got that win against Villarreal on Monday. Valencia, obviously, I did a watch long where they played away at Sevilla, got the 1-1 draw. Now, if we look at the win probability, for some reason it looks quite even, but I don't know. I still give a slight edge to Real Sociedad heading into this game. Obviously, Sociedad picked up a very, very crucial win at home. I did predict them to lose that game, but they picked up a win against Villarreal in their previous game, which really, really does help their chances. They're only 2 points behind Villarreal and only about 8 points behind their rivals, Athletic Club, for that Champions League spot. Do I think I'll call it early? I don't think La Liga, unfortunately, does not get the 5th spot, or 5th place finishes in the Champions League places. So I think it will only be the top 4. So Sociedad picked up a very crucial win against Villarreal. As for Valencia, look, I know they got a draw away at Sevilla, but look where Valencia are now. It's a must win for Valencia. Only 2 wins all season for Valencia. 2 wins. That is for Valencia disgraceful. But look, I'll be honest, right? Valencia's games are, I wouldn't say entertaining, but there's at least something about them that they can always just bring some sort of bottle job surprise. Obviously they conceded in the last minute against Sevilla in the game I did a watch long for with No Filter FC TV. But before we do, let's get into some of the comments. Obviously, Donna Collin, I know. Whether someone joined your show or not, I always do. Yeah, big up, Donna Collin in the chat. But yeah, as I said, this game between Valencia and Real Sociedad is going to be a pretty tough one. But here are some insights into this game. Valencia have lost 3 of the last 3 meetings against Sociedad, failing to score on all 3, which is the worst run against Sociedad. Real Sociedad have lost just 3 of the last 13 away games against Valencia, but won 6, drawn 4 in the last 13 in La Liga seasons, basically. Valencia have lost 3 of the last 6 home games against Basque teams so far this season, which is not great. Valencia only picked up 13 points in 19 games in La Liga. I believe that is actually the worst. It says here, meanwhile, in only 8 of the 57 instances, so the last 50, only 8 of the 57 times this has happened to a team, 13 points or fewer at this stage of the season, halfway through the season, did avoid relegation. So that's, if I have to calculate, let me quickly calculate. There's, at the moment, based on that stat, there's only a 14% chance now that Valencia survive and be that sort of 9th team in now 58 to basically survive. So 15% of Valencia's chances of staying up this season. The last team that did it actually was Real Zaragoza back in the 2011-12 campaign. And look where Real Zaragoza are now. We'll talk about them in a little bit. And also, Real Sociedad have won 3 of the last 5 La Liga matches, which is a pretty good record at the moment. So, look, maybe I'm jinxing Sociedad every single game, but I just feel like Real Sociedad are picking up form, probably at the right time, because around this time last season, they were not in good form. They also got knocked out of the Copa del Rey semifinal. Probably, I wouldn't say around this time, but they were not that great, Sociedad. And I just feel like at the moment that these 2 teams are aiming for different purposes, and I just feel like Real Sociedad will get the win. I will go with a 2-1 for Real Sociedad. 2-1 Real Sociedad in that game away at Mestalla in Valencia, and won't be good for Valencia. But the final La Liga game of the weekend to look forward to is Villarreal versus Mallorca. Coincidentally, if you guys don't believe it, both of these teams are next to each other in the league, but the win probability said 56%, so about more than half for Villarreal to win. But if you look at the table, they're on the same number of points, 30 points each. But a win for either team is really, really crucial. But both teams, I'll be honest, defensively not that great, either scoring-wise or defensively. It's one of the two. So this could be a pretty entertaining game. A draw, I feel like, doesn't suit either team. I'll be honest, heading into it in the Estadio de la Ceramica. But I just feel like for Villarreal, they need to take the chances. But for Mallorca, actually, it's not even showing the pre-match stuff. But look, Villarreal in the past few games have not looked good. They have not looked good. Obviously, losing to Real Sociedad in the previous game. Whereas Mallorca, look, they were in the Supercopa. They were eliminated by Madrid, which was comfortable. But they lost. They actually lost to Pontevedra in the Copa del Rey previous round. Obviously, now Pontevedra have been eliminated and Orense, so no more Galician clubs. No more Segunda Primera Ref or Segunda Ref teams left. It's only La Liga clubs left in the Copa del Rey quarterfinal and onwards. But yeah, both of these teams are actually out of the Copa del Rey. So this is the only fight that both teams have. Obviously, both teams are not in Europe at the moment. So look, it is going to be very crucial for whichever team wins this game. I do feel like there might be something in for both of these sides. And I just feel like, I'll be honest, right, that both of these teams at the moment do not have the greatest run of form. But I will actually go with a Villarreal win. I'll go 2-0. I'll go 2-0 win for Villarreal. I think they'll, I wouldn't say pick up form, but they'll get something to help themselves out in the table. I'll be honest with you guys. So yeah, that at the moment is, I said 2-0 Villarreal. That is at the moment the end of the preview of the La Liga matches for match day 20. But before we get started with this stuff, let's go into the El Toro de la Semana, the bowl, as you can see, the bowl of the week. This is basically the man of the weekend, basically. I will not include the Supercopa de España. If I was to say, I would probably say Rafinha. But based on all of the La Liga matches, who is the El Toro de la Semana, the bowl of the week? And I'll be honest, not much to choose from, but I think just because he got them the goal, that is really, really crucial in their fight to get into the European places this season, I'm going for Takefusa Kubo of Real Sociedad to be the El Toro de la Semana. The ball of the week goes to Takefusa Kubo of Real Sociedad. Got the goal early in that second half against Villarreal. He was pretty good in that game as well. Really high rating for him, and it really, really did help the chances of Sociedad closing the gap to Villarreal to only 2 points heading into this final match day, which is a pretty good sight for Sociedad in that regard, obviously. So before I get started with the final bit of the show, obviously, as I said, please do hit the like button on the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. There's currently at least just 2 votes for which La Liga game I should do a live watch along for. I think I'm more likely seeing it's going to be Leganés against Atlético Madrid. But look, guys, there's also Espanyol versus Real Valladolid and Celta Vigo against Athletic Club that you guys can also check out in the chat, obviously. So yeah, now let's get into a little extra segment, as I always do at the end of these shows. Not just the El Toro de Semana, but the Segunda Division. Just a quick recap on what's happening there. Obviously, because this is a big La Liga show. So let's go through the games. I'll just zoom in for all you guys. And look, guys, fucking huge action this past weekend of Segunda. Not to start, because there's two 0-0 draws. Granada drawing 0-0 against Burgos, and then Racing Ferrol drawing 0-0 against Cartagena. But when you look at that, Huesca and Mirandes, red cards for both teams, and Huesca, the team that is probably closing for that playoff spot in La Liga, whereas Mirandes was second. Now they dropped down to third because can't even get my words right. Racing Club de Santander got 2-2 draw against Albacete, and Albacete actually got 2 red cards in that game. But that draw actually puts Racing Club back, I believe, up to second in the automatic spots. Whereas we had Malaga and Deportivo La Coruña. Look, I watched the game just by myself. Deportivo had fucking 5, 6, 7, 8 shots on target in that second half. We scored 1, but we fucking conceded and didn't win the game, which is typical of Deportivo. As I said, games that we should be winning, we draw. Games that we are drawing, we are losing. And games that we are losing, we just lose. So, look, it's the story of Deportivo's season. I'll be honest. And obviously, there's the reports about Jeremy Hernandez potential moving to Chelsea in the Premier League, which is quite hilarious. But Jeremy has been our best player this season for Deportivo. Tenerife got a very, very crucial win at home against Castellón to have any hope of survival. Obviously, we had the Asturias derby between Real Oviedo and Sporting Gijon. It finished in a 1-1 draw. The game did get abandoned for a few minutes or suspended, basically, but it ended 1-1. Obviously, the previous meeting was a 3-1 win, home win for Sporting Gijon, but this ended in a 1-1 draw. Almeria got a comfortable 3-0 win against Cordoba to really solidify their top spot in the Segunda. Cadiz, look, red cards are galore. Cadiz got a 0-0 draw at home against Levante, and Cadiz could be in that relegation battle, which they are, I feel like. Elche got a 1-0 win over Real Zaragoza, the typical mediocre mid-table team of Segunda now, unfortunately, for Zaragoza. And the final one is that Eldense, unfortunately, lost 3-1 at their home ground against Eibar. Yes, that's right, Eibar in the Segunda. Now, just very quick, I'm not giving predictions, but just the games to look forward to in the Segunda. We have Cartagena against Real Oviedo. We have Eldense against Cadiz. Eibar against Albacete, Sporting Gijón against Elche, Levante against Granada, Burgos against Deportivo La Coruña. Forza Depor will probably not win. We have Racing against Racing, but it's Racing Club de Santander and Racing Club de Ferrol up against each other. We have Castellón against Cordoba, a battle of the Primera Ref teams. You have Real Zaragoza versus Tenerife. You have Almeria against Huesca. And to round up on the Monday night, we have Mirandes versus Malaga. So let's quickly look at the Segunda table and how things are looking like at the moment. As I said, Almeria putting themselves in a very good spot right now. But actually, I thought Racing Club were second, but it's actually Elche. Elche are up to second place in the Segunda. Racing Club de Santander and Mirandes now kind of being a bit inconsistent. Both kind of similar number of points. Meanwhile, Levante and Huesca, as I said, Huesca got that crucial win against Mirandes, actually puts them in the top 6, the playoffs. So this is the current top 6 potential chance of promotion. But just below, just by goal difference, really, Real Oviedo got that draw against Sporting Gijón. You have Granada over there as well, and Sporting Gijón just a bit behind the rest of the teams, but winless. Malaga getting a very, I would say, lucky draw against Deportivo at their home ground. Eibar, and then Eibar with 31 points rounds up the top half. Meanwhile, teams that are less than 30 points are the bottom half. Deportivo, of fucking course, are one of them. But you have Zaragoza on 29 as well as Castellón. Both teams lost. Albacete getting their draw as well as Burgos on 27. Same thing with Cordoba. As for Deportivo La Coruña, we are still somehow not fucking picking up wins. 6 wins. Come on, mates. Come on. Forza Depor, 25 points and 17th, just 2 places above the relegation zone, 4 points above the relegation zone. Cadiz, who were relegated from La Liga last season, are the team that is just above the relegation zone on 24 points. 3 points behind them, but the bottom 4, as I said, do get relegated from the Segunda. You have Eldense and Racing Ferrol, which are kind of similar in the position, even though obviously Eldense are 2 points ahead. And I'll be honest, even though they didn't both lose, but Cartagena and Tenerife, I'll be honest, are still more likely to get relegated from the Segunda this season. That is just what I think of that. But yeah, that's basically it, people. That's the end of the show. So I will now close the poll, and you guys have decided, the 3 votes, you guys have decided that I will be doing a live watch long for, if it appears, it will appear at some point. You guys have said that I will be doing a watch long. You guys voted. I'll do a watch long for Leganés versus Atlético Madrid, which is on Saturday, 4:15 p.m. Spain time, obviously. It is a team that could potentially remain top of La Liga should they get, well, even if they lose, but more likely going to win. What do you call this? Atlético Madrid. So I'm doing a watch long of Leganés versus Atlético Madrid on Saturday, 4:15 p.m. Spain time. So yeah, that rounds up the entire show. First off, I just want to give a mention to basically Donald Cullen. I know it's Donald Cullen, but big up to Donald Cullen for joining the live chat, and big up to everyone that has voted in the live poll and saying that I should do a watch along for Leganés versus Atlético Madrid on Saturday, 4:15 p.m. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. And obviously, I do this El Toro show, La Liga show, every Thursday, 6 p.m. Spanish time, 5 p.m. UK, and 12 p.m. Eastern New York, USA time. And as I said, big up to everyone. As I said, I like to keep the stream at most an hour. That's what I really want. So yeah, until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Actually, before we do, like the stream, subscribe to the channel, follow me on X on Twitter. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one for the live watch along of Leganés hosting La Liga leaders Atlético Madrid. Saturday, 4 p.m. Spain time. Peace.